but they resolved to not rest till they achieved it. The first task of independent India was therefore for the Constituent Assembly to devise a constitution that would serve the goals of a social revolution and of national renaissance. Our constitution put the marginalized and the disenfranchised front and center in our national project of emancipation. It ushered in a reign of deliberative democracy inspired by the ideals of justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. And to meet these aims, the Constitution weaved an intricate network of democratic institutions. It established a representative, responsive and responsible government premised on parliamentary democracy and universal adult franchise. These ideas were no less than revolutionary for a country coming out of the brutal clutches of colonialism. But our nation builders charted on a historic experiment of democracy, the largest to ever be conducted anywhere in the world. They did so because they realized the vitality of democratic institutions and universal adult franchise. We all speak about the Constitution in the backdrop of the colonial era and what our country suffered. This morning, I was reading a beautifully written piece by a noted Carnatic vocalist, Chitra Sri Krishna, and the title of the piece is Songs of Freedom. The idea of liberty is woven into the fabric of Indian poetry. And what I'm going to share with you is something that I imbibed this morning and which I have of course known of all through the years. In 500 CE, Tiruvalluvar, in his classical Thirukkural, used three phrases. Inmayin, innatatu, yadenin, what is worse than poverty? That's the constitutional question which Dr. Ambedkar asked us. What is worse than poverty? In the 12th century, Akka Mahadevi used two words. She said Chenna Mallikarjuna, which means God resides in her heart. Now when she said that God resides in her heart, she was not making a statement of religion or spirituality as much as a statement for the emancipation of women, the autonomy of women, the dignity of women. In the 14th century, Chokhamela, who belonged to the Mahar community, wrote that famous devotional hymn, which is folklore to all of us coming from Maharashtra, Abir Gulala Udayita Ranga Ranga. And what he meant by that was, he referred to the deity dancing outside a temple amidst gulal being thrown and saying, please give me at least a glimpse of the deity. Kabir spoke of the Nirguni Bhajan. And then, much later, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore referred to Khonchor Paki Chilo, the conversation between two birds, when one asked the other, would you prefer the security of being caged to the uncertainty of freedom? Our constitution made the choice for us. We chose in 1950 the uncertainty of freedom. And what is happening today, say in Bangladesh, is a clear reminder of us how precious liberty is for us. Many of the young lawyers today, or most of them, are the post-independence generation. I myself am the post-independence generation. But many of you are the post-emergency generation. Therefore, it's very easy to take freedom for granted. It is simple to take liberty for granted. But it's important that we dwell on the stories of the past to remind us how precious liberty is and what an important role which we as judges and lawyers play as an institution in the preservation of liberty. Our freedom struggle allowed us to reimagine the framework of our governance. As everyone here would know, many lawyers gave up their lucrative legal practices and dedicated themselves to the cause of the nation. I mentioned Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Jawaharlal Nehru, Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, K.M. Munshi, Govind Vallabh Pant, Devi Prasad Khaitan, Sir Syed Muhammad Sadullah, N.G. Iyengar, B.L. Mittar, among so many others. They were instrumental not only in achieving freedom for India, but also in establishing a fiercely independent judiciary. But the task of patriotic lawyers did not end with India achieving her independence. Lawyers in the bar have been a constant force of good in our country, even after independence. The courts are vital to uphold the rights and dignity of citizens. But the bar, wedded to the Constitution and the rule of law, is vital to uphold the conscience of the courts. Members of the bar are the crucial link between the people and the judges. They allow us to absorb the pain and the pulse of the people. Equally, the bar is the representative of the profession and by extension of the judges before the people. In that sense, the bar is a two-way bridge between the people and the court. An erudite and principled bar makes for a vigilant and alert judiciary. I commend the work of our bar in playing this pivotal role in our society, one which is rooted in the rule of law and the Constitution. As a judge for the past 24 years, I can keep my hand on my heart and say that the work of the courts reflects the struggles of ordinary Indians navigating the rough and tumble of their daily lives. The Supreme Court of India sees throngs of litigants from villages and from metropolitan cities of all regions, castes, genders and religions seeking justice. The legal community allows the court to do justice to these citizens in no small a measure. Last year on this very day, I had spoken about the need for overhauling our court infrastructure. When I emphasize the need for such changes, I keep two constituents at the forefront, the citizens and the bar. A modern judiciary requires an accessible and inclusive infrastructure. The ease of lawyers to navigate the court not only allows them to assist the court with ease and efficiency, but also for them to feel a sense of responsibility towards the institution of the judiciary as its custodian. In the last 6 months, we have taken many infrastructural initiatives. The Supreme Court has extended the fiber optics internet to the lawyers' block, creating consultation rooms in the east wing of the main building. We have constructed cubicles for lawyers who are waitlisted for chamber allotments, set up a multi-facilitation center, and renovated the office of the Supreme Court Bar Association. We have also created a new lounge for women members of the bar. The establishment of a women-only space inside the court premises will enhance the ability of women lawyers to assist the court and seek guidance from their seniors. The Supreme Court has seen the merger of the two registrars' courts from the 8th of July just last month. The new registrars' court has state-of-the-art infrastructure for lawyers. A new accessibility help desk has also been set up to make our court truly a court for all. The help desk would enhance the accessibility of persons with disability, women and senior citizens when approaching the Supreme Court. But our work has only just begun. The Supreme Court is actively building a bigger creche for childcare in Block E of the additional building, which will alleviate the problems that many parents, particularly women, have to incur while navigating their professional life with parenthood. Last evening, I paid a visit to the new creche which is about to be opened. As opposed to 25 young infants who can be accommodated in the old creche, the new creche can accommodate 75 young children. My only regret is that I lost the time when I could have been in the creche, probably 60 or 62 years ago. Apart from the creche, the court will also see the construction of the Advocates Wellness Center, which is almost ready, the upgradation of existing facilities, and the air conditioning of the corridors lining courtrooms 1 to 5 as well as Block D of the administrative building complex. Above all, no task is accomplished without the active involvement and participation of all the stakeholders. Rashna was right that we have to take the bar into confidence. We are taking the bar into confidence on every aspect of our development and construction work. The Supreme Court Registry works tirelessly to bring the cases of the litigants before the court, and I must express my deep gratitude to the registry led by the Secretary General, Mr. Atul Kurekar, and all the registrars who are still here present today. We have recently announced the second edition of the hackathon, which invites suggestions to improve the working of the registry. After a successful hackathon last year, in which we received valuable suggestions from the members of the bar, we are now looking for suggestions to explore solutions in artificial intelligence-based technology for improving and streamlining the functioning of the registry. There are two themes in the hackathon this year. One, how do we use artificial intelligence to ensure that the entire process of identifying defects in cases is made free from human intervention and entirely based on AI. Second, can we develop artificial intelligence-based chatbots to give simple information to litigants about their legal rights and duties? I encourage all of you to participate in this initiative and make us work better for you and the litigants. I am of the firm opinion that the legal community has a responsibility to keep the moral conscience of our society and of the courts. The bar has been responsible for the direction of many important constitutional and legal developments in our country, which have furthered the aspirations of our freedom fighters. In all the work which we have done, the central focus has been to better the infrastructure for citizens and for the members of the bar. I'm glad to inform you that the entire tendering process, including all permissions for the construction of a new building of the Supreme Court, has been completed, and we'll have a new Supreme Court building coming up in the existing premises with 27 futuristic courts, 3 courts over 10,000 square feet, modern facilities for the Supreme Court Bar Association, modern facilities for the Supreme Court Advocates on Records Association, and modern facilities for the women lawyers. Increasingly, women are outnumbering even the men in the district judiciary, and I perceive that that's going to happen at the bar as well one day. Another thing which I would like to share on such a happy occasion as this Independence Day is that we have received an allotment of 1.92 acres from the Government of India. We are constructing in those 1.92 acres a futuristic building which will include inter alia consultation rooms for lawyers, workstations for lawyers, so that a lawyer who comes to this court on the first day is not starved of space, canteens for the members of the bar and litigants, bar rooms for the members of the bar and litigants. The construction of that will also start immediately. Finally, the legal community has been instrumental in rooting the Constitution on a firm basic structure, ushering in substantive due process, protecting the dignity of women, gender and other minorities, and other marginalized communities. This festive journey of democracy and independence requires your active and moral participation. I once again wish everyone a happy Independence Day. Jai Hind.